fossil fuel industry uses deceptive tactics to convince us, the consumer, that they are not a big part of the global warming problem, when in fact they are. Using green marketing, a kind of advertisement appealing to the ethos of environmental advocates, companies like Exxon and BP attempt to paint a picture that they are one of us and are trying to do good by nature. Under the facade, however, they shell out millions to individuals spreading anti-climate change misinformation and lobby governments all over the world to reduce regulation on their mendacious business practices. Since the inception of the global warming discussion, these companies have toyed with governments and consumers to push the idea that it is the individual needs to change rather than themselves. This is malicious and misleading, but unfortunately many of the public have been successfully influenced to believe that it is their household's carbon footprint that is the major cause of concern. For my project, I seek to research the ways these companies manipulate the climate conversation, discover whether or not they work, and prove that their words do not match their actions. My interest in this topic grew from being the offspring of two neo-hippie parents. Growing up, we watched many documentaries on climate change and eco-advocacy, with the ideas of preserving nature cementing in me over time. I recently came across the advent of greenwashing, the quite direct misleading of consumers to make them believe the product being marketed is environmentally friendly when it actually isn't. With this in mind, I was annoyed to see commercials from energy companies saying that they are one of us and are making a commitment to cleaning their carbon footprint. With a little research, I realized that this is not only untrue, but far from it. Some research shows that the fossil fuel sector is the largest producer of carbon emissions out of all of the industries. For this presentation, I will strive from repeating the same usual conversation regarding climate change as can be found anywhere in this age. Rather, I hope to inform people that they might be being manipulated by a producer of a product that they consume, if not the fossil fuel industry. Many people, especially millennials and youth in general, have taken to buying green products in a trivial effort to aid in the climate crisis. Many of these products are marketed as such, but with little to no bearing. So it is to the consumers of these products that I am reaching out to. These companies will only change if we make it clear that we have problems with what they are doing. We can vote with our wallets. In a recent project, I researched some of the ways the fossil fuel industry influences the climate conversation and how they manipulate the system to get what they want. One article from the Washington University Global Studies Law Review details how companies like ExxonMobil have funded climate change naysayers for decades, despite having known about their impact on global warming since the 1980s. Other articles I pulled said more evidence of the same, and one study gave evidence that the green marketing advertisements used by these companies were often successful in their attempts to convince consumers. I will later provide evidence that shows whether these companies' promises are fulfilled or not and how much of an effect they actually have on the public. Finding data that is not biased towards environmentalists or the fossil fuel industries will be tricky, but using KSU's super search engine, I will get it done. Another issue I find is that there are a lot of conflicting statistics regarding the amount of carbon output for the various industries, but so it'll take some time to sift through the contradictory reports. But besides this, there are a plethora of studies that are done around this topic that I can reference. And I think that it will be useful to people that are interested in this topic to have it all compiled into one article. With your allowance to go forward with this project, I would be able to spread awareness for this problem and make it be known to people who really care about climate change.